How's it going, YouTube? Today's video is actually something I had planned for a review of Lucien Clarke's Louis Vuitton Pro Model skate shoe because it was really kind of like the first of its kind for something that is considered high fashion. But something came out about the shoe that was really interesting for not only myself, but for a lot of people on the Slap forums. And it kind of looks like Louis Vuitton is doing Lucien dirty a little bit. But that's going to be up to you guys at the end of the video to decide for yourselves. But before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how the 9 Club prior had talked about the Louis Vuitton shoe. It was kind of speculated as far as the price of what it was going to be. So it's not coronavirus. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they said as far as the price of it, because that to me, from what they thought to what it actually is now, because the shoe is out. It's sold out, but I mean, it's out now in the Louis Vuitton stores. It's really interesting to see what they guessed to what it actually is. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Steve, is you sticking with the 140?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I would be hopeful.
Okay. Hey, Kelly?
I'm gonna say $300-400 bucks.
What do we do? Let's narrow it down a little bit.
Dude, I'll say $300.
300.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the Price is Right right now.
Well, yeah, this is it, man.
I'm fucking right with Steezus. I think 140, 150, and if you guys want to send us a couple pairs, we will fucking.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Listen, Virgil, Red Bull hat,
that.
Louis Vuitton, I'm ready. I am ready.
We'll put them on the show. It's real culture right there.
I just had.
I will talk into that fucking shoe. I'll put that shoe right here. I will talk into that shoe. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good idea, Chris.
Wow. Dubs.
Hey, that's nightclub colors.
I'm gonna go.
That's nightclub colors right there.
I'm going around the 250, 225 to 250 range.
That's
okay.
reasonable. That's reasonable. That's very reasonable.
I was gonna say higher end, 300. Yeah. But I wishful thinking. I really want it to be like 150.
I want it to be attainable too. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is a heritage brand that has really it speaks luxurious. So it's
this is so.
But then,
awesome.
it makes no sense for them to get in a skateboard.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was just gonna say like that. It wouldn't even be. They would turn their nose up to it,
exactly.
But it's like they've done a collaboration with Supreme, and obviously Supreme started as a skate brand, moved into what it is now, but they've never done anything like this, where this is like core skateboarding, and for them to have even just the open mind of like, yeah, let's make a shoe designed for skateboarding, put ads on Thrasher, let's really like tap into the market of skateboarding, not just people that like skateboarding fashion or are into skateboarding. I would hope that they, somewhere along the lines would try and make something accessible. And to your point, $225 not for sneakers nowadays. That's not bad. But when you're thinking about something you're going to skate, destroy, like you want to hopefully have repeat customers, maybe make it a little bit more accessible.
And to add on that, not for nothing, the track record of Louis Vuitton shoes, I mean, they're not the best shoes. Let's just be honest. So for you to really tap into skateboarding, we need to be like versatile in the sense of being able to actually skate in these shoes.
Yeah, that'd be
so
good.
I mean, it looks great and all, but can we actually skate in this shoe?
So there you go. There's a 9 Club segment on what they guesstimate the Louis Vuitton shoe to be as far as the price, which is really interesting because they are now out in the stores. And the price is very different than what they guessed. Now, from what they said, maybe like $300, I'm going to show you what has come out about the shoe. And we're going to go and look at the shoe first, because I did actually have an entire review filmed for this shoe, like an entire thing talking about, what it's made of, why I actually personally like the design of it, take away all the LV stuff. I actually like the design of it. And I actually went into details about the shoe, but as soon as I got some news about the shoe, and I'll give you examples of what I'm talking about, I kind of just threw that whole review away, and now I'm filming this a couple days later. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff for the shoe and see what it is that makes the shoe, I guess, so special to Louis Vuitton, but then what they actually are doing to Lucien Clarke, and just take a deep dive into why they might be doing dirty business. So this is the thread that I'm a part of for the Slap forums. This is the new upcoming shoe release. I'll go real briefly about this because I want to get into what's actually going on. But first person to post about it, as far as them actually being out, was Bubblegum Tate, and he posted up a link to Lucien Clarke's own Instagram page where he has some posts of him actually skating in the shoe, just some looks at the shoe, him signing the shoe for other people. Like, for example, there's Hove, and there's other people in the back that he's signing it for. Some you just can't see because of the way that the boxes are stacked, but he's really excited, and he is trying to share his excitement for other people that maybe were an inspiration to him growing up. Whatever the case is, he's just trying to celebrate his new shoe release, and I can't blame him. I personally like the look of the shoe, and taking away all the LV stuff, I think it's a great shoe. And you know, I'd be stoked to be getting the check that he's possibly getting for designing a shoe. So people are going down, and we have right here a link to the shoe itself. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. So it's called A View, and here in the description, I'll just read this real quick. I'm not going to go into the details of what it's made of and all that, but the A View sneaker was designed by Louis Vuitton artist, director Virgil, conceived in exchange with professional skateboarder Lucien Clarke, evoking the familiarity of its 1990s frontrunners. The upper combines blah, blah, blah. So you guys can go to the Louis Vuitton website if you want to actually check out the shoe as far as what it's made of and all that. But right off the bat, I like the shoe. I like the look of the shoe. I don't like the price tag on the shoe because, yeah, it's a little steep. But I like the inspiration that it possibly has come from. And a lot of people are speculating a lot of different shoes. And there's two of them that I personally can see have direct inspiration from. And one of them, which a lot of people are saying it is inspired by, is the Rick Howard 1 from DC. And I can completely see it, especially when it comes to the sole. I actually, for shoes, I like this kind of broken sole. I like this look. There was Ryan Gallant used to advertise for it quite a bit. I think it was called the DC Battle, and this was a really nice shoe as far as how they actually broke the sole of it, because it was kind of thicker in the backs and then it went real narrow towards the middle of your foot. I don't know, I just like the look of it. So you can see here how it actually is taken some inspiration from, because again, everyone's speculating that it's this shoe specifically it's inspired from. So let's just kind of go off with that theory. And the side of it, the extra little hits of color that kind of pop out and maybe have a bit of a shine, like right here especially, you can see it. But for the way that the side panel is made, the way that the color hits are done, I can completely see how this is taken as an inspiration to make this shoe. However, I think it was a mix of that and not just this new Carol that has come out, but if we go and look at the old one, the way that the layering is done, and especially too this type of lacing, because the new shoe has that kind of lacing. If I can find a up close picture of it, that'd be great. But you can see right here, it's the lacing where there's not actual eyelets, but I like this more because it helps protect your laces better. However, once you bust that through, it's game over. But I can see where this could be possibly an inspiration about this area of the shoe. Combine that with, especially like not with the plastic-ish cage right here, but if this was just stitch, I can see that also being a little bit of an inspiration for that shoe. Again, just total speculation on my part, just something fun when looking at a shoe, just trying to figure out where it possibly has originated from. And then just the runner toe, the view doesn't really have it as far as it being like super distinct and going real flat, but it does have a runner style toe because it does come up a little bit higher in the front, and you can also see it on the tops as well. You get a better look on your own computer, but just looking through here, you could see a little bit of inspiration for that. However, let's keep looking on here. So we talk about where it's sold out, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So right here, they removed his name from his shoe that was released, and the European page doesn't even mention him at all. and it just says, the Avue trainers were designed by Louis Vuitton artist, director Virgil, who drew inspiration from skate shoes. So that's where this whole video is pretty much deriving from. And let's keep going because they mention even more. Yeah, plus they did a massive dirty on him and took his name off the side of his own shoe, replaced it with LV instead, and made it sound like Virgil came up with a design based on 90s runners. When it blatantly based on 90s skate shoes, Lucien liked that were themselves based on 90s runners, conceived in exchange with what was an email exchange. It basically depro'd his pro model shoe, and that's a really bad move. And so it's just something that everyone's been talking about as far as why someone would do that. And just the speculation on, is it because of marketing? So going right here, they say they've always featured both LV and Lucien's names on the sides. They might only be showing LV in photographs because they know it'll sell more. This is incorrect. The model that has gone to stores doesn't have his name on it at all. It's still his handwriting, but no longer his name on them. So this is the only thing that I kind of agree and disagree with. As far as the website, it is only Louis Vuitton. But for some reason, when we go back up to him actually signing his shoe, you can see here, it says Louis Vuitton, right? And I think it's to the right. It has his name on it. But this is weird because even here, it doesn't say Lucien Clarke, and there's not even an imprint where his name was, if that's the same shoe, or the same side, because that's the medial side, which is like the inner part of the shoe, not the side that, for example, like you skate against. Because that's definitely the same side. So that's kind of weird. But looking on the website, it strictly just says Louis Vuitton. And even right here, you can tell it says Louis Vuitton on it. Especially because of, it's really hard to see. You probably zoom in and see it better. But you can see there's a clear line right here that's this. And the median side, or the medial side, whatever it's called, it doesn't have any writing on it at all. And so this is someone that was kind of debunking that too, because they highlighted, they always featured both his name and LV on the sides. And so they put up a comparison of someone who actually has the shoe in hand versus what Lucien is actually holding. And I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. That's just how Kelly Hart says it. And so I'm just going to go off with that because I've never met the guy. I barely have talked about him ever with friends. I love his style. I liked when he was on Super and the stuff he was doing there. But otherwise, I really don't hear about him or mention him at all. So here you can clearly see it says Louis Vuitton. And so that's on the right shoe. Right here. Here you go. So Louis Vuitton. And this is the left shoe. So here you go. So here's the left. And then you have, here's the right. So you can actually see both shoes. And then you have Lucien as well holding his actual shoe where it says his name on it. And I think he does a close-up at the end of this video where you can actually see how the writing is not just with a pen, but it's actually an indentation where if you were to actually take out the silver, it would still say his name clearly in the shoe. Yeah, see, it's an actual indentation. It's not like the Booznits on his Adidas Pro model. It's not like that where you can just scratch it off and it's fine. This is actually an indentation in the material, and then they colored it in. So, yeah, even here, Lucien Clarke. All the stuff with him actually holding it has his name. So, and I posted also on here that Virgil actually states that it's supposed to be his pro model shoe. So Lucien, he designed the shoe for himself, and it's his pro model. And sadly, I do believe whoever said that his name was removed to make it sales easier to people buying LV who wouldn't be familiar with him, but seeing LV all over show is more appealing to those spending $1,200 for shoes. Because when you're at the level of being able to buy that kind of luxury in your life, I imagine you're probably not very familiar with skateboarders. With certain athletes, yes, but skateboarders, I would highly doubt that would be the case. So maybe that's what they're doing. But it's just kind of interesting that they just took his name right off his own shoe. Because even on, for example, I pulled up the Thrasher ad that has him actually wearing his shoe. If you zoom into the shoe, you're not going to be able to get a really good look, but you can clearly see. Okay, stop zooming in the wrong spot. There you go. It does actually say Lucien Clarke. And the reason I know that is because when you look at this, the V is very tight right here. But when you look at this, it's not. If I can zoom in any closer. Okay, that's as far as I can go. But it's not tight at all. And there's no line going up top for, the T's. This is his actual name on his shoe. And I think even here, if I can zoom in enough, back up again, there's, again, no line up top for it to be saying Louis Vuitton. It's his actual name on the side of his shoe. Yet when it comes to the shoe actually being in now mass production for stores, they've just taken his name right off the shoe. And that's almost like your favorite skate, like not even just yours, but let's just say, for example, because it happens all the time when people switch teams, and Andrew Reynolds' Low Volk shoe is now just called the Low. What if they had taken his name right off the shoe before he had switched over? As far as, if they were feeling really salty about the team change or whatever the issue was for maybe the contract or just the feeling of the team now compared to how it was, whatever the case was, because I don't know what happened. I'm not even trying to speculate. I'm just trying to give an example. What if they didn't like the way that things were going and they just took his name right off the shoe even after it was deemed his shoe? This just seems, especially because it is a much more expensive shoe from what people would consider a high fashion company, I feel this is kind of really doing him dirty, because this is supposed to be the first skateboarder to get a actual contract with a company of what was supposed to be, again, high fashion. And yet they just outright took him completely off the shoe. And I tried to get onto the European website somehow, some way, and I just could not do it. So anybody that, if you're seeing this in Europe, please go to your own website for Louis Vuitton and verify this. But as of right now, nobody stated otherwise that his name has been put back onto the site to be able to give him credit. But completely taking away credit from someone that actually designed the shoe, to me, is just really dirty business. So I sent a link to the 9 Club, to the Slap page that was starting to talk about how the name was taken off the shoe, and only one person saw it, and I tagged damn near every single person that's on the 9 Club experience. Unfortunately, not Eldridge, just because I couldn't find him fast enough to tag him in it, but I tagged everyone else, and only one person saw it. I doubt that they opened the link, but I honestly doubt that they're going to really talk about this, because there's a lot of things that they try to steer clear of, because they are now a business, whether they're huge, small, or whatever, but they do have a lot of eyes that look upon them every single week. And especially, like, for example, people were calling out the Brandon Biebel controversy, where he was filming, like, I don't even know what he's filming exactly, or what he's trying to get out of it. But I mean, you could look it up and find it. And people were commenting on the 9 Club experience in so many different videos. Why are you not talking about the Biebel situation? This, that. And so I can imagine that when it comes to something like this, because they did talk about it and they hyped it up, and it is something that they just want to probably just steer clear of, because it would not be looking good for business, because right now it's only speculation as to why. The evidence is here. I've shown as much evidence as I can at this point in this video, but I imagine they're not going to talk about it right now. They might let it kind of sit for a little bit if they are going to talk about it. But I just hope that whatever's going on in this situation, that Lucien Clarke is able to hopefully get his name back on his shoe, because again, I like the shoe's look. I hate the price tag of it, but I like the shoe's look. And if I was put in his position, because I've never been given a pro shoe, I've never been offered a pro shoe, I've never been put on a team or anything like that. But if I was given the ability to design a shoe and then they took my name off of it just as it was hitting stores and being sold to the public, where the entire shoe is pretty much sold out. There you go, out of stock right here. So it is no longer available. And there you go. Any size. It's gone. It's sold well. I personally would be bummed, because that would be a piece of my history. Again, if I was put in his place, it'd be a piece of my history to go from something like Supra, which was supposed to be considered not necessarily for skateboarding anymore, to then something that really isn't for skateboarding. You get to design your own shoe, and the royalties that you would be making from the shoe, I can only imagine, are much, much higher than just a regular skateboarder would get from their sponsor. But to see them just completely take your name off and take your credits away from your own design, I would be really bummed on that. And I can only imagine that to an extent maybe he is, but if he's getting, you know, huge bag, maybe he doesn't even care. Who knows? But it's something I just wanted to talk to you guys about, bring to you guys as far as just a look of what can happen in situations like this, especially with companies like this. It doesn't happen to everybody, but this is a case where it did happen. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and share it if you could, because that'll help with the YouTube algorithm to get this video out to as many people as possible. And if you like content like this, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever a new video comes out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.